Welcome back, everybody, ladies, gentlemen, and whoever else is watching. I hope you had a fantastic day. I hope you had a really nice evening because it's going to get even better now. Valorant League is back, and we have one of our most exciting matchup up in Division 2 tonight. My name is Saprix. I'm joined by Alex, and we will be your voices for the games.
Yeah, thank you very much, Saprix. I cannot wait for this. Meat is boosted. Currently, the leaders in Group A taking on FireFlies, who need this game if they want to make it for group playoffs. Currently sitting at 2 wins and 2 losses. This is their final match of the week. It should be a banger, as you know, they've lost and won to different teams that have beat the other. There's going to be so interesting. Oh my God, Saprix, I just cannot wait for this.
Before we start, actually, though, what about you? Have you had anything exciting lately? Because we need to know each other a bit. We need to know the chat. How you're doing right here? What's the mood like?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I've said this on cast before, but I recently won I didn't win. We came second, but I won the Broxer. I came second in the Broxer Cash tournament. Sponsored by people. Why am I even shouting out their sponsor? Why am I? I'm not. It was, but yeah, I made it to finals. It was with a sort of randomized team, and that was, oh my God, that was so good. Really enjoyed that. Made some great friends. Got shouted by, I think it was Medic and Broxer who were doing the cast.
That's
so
hype.
I'm still kind of living off the hype of that.
That's living the dream, if you ask me.
Hell yeah. I'm silver, by the way. Like, it wasn't me. If you want to know why we got to finals, it was not me, but I'm still living here for it. And
a part of it was you. Like the 0.1% of it was you.
The 0.1% of it was me picking Malzahar and not doing anything.
Just pushing late and clicking E on the minion wave. I get it.
Yeah.
On my side, I just passed an exam, so I'm probably better than I've ever been in the last month. So pretty excited too.
Let's go.
That's awesome. Looking at some messages in chat, I think even the teams are pretty excited for this match. And I think the biggest trap card in this moment is FireFlies having that victory against second place Hentai Haven. Hentai Haven is not playing today, but it's still going to be quite a clash to know which teams will actually make it to playoffs and go further in the competition.
Absolutely, especially when you consider the very confusing system of strength of victory, which is how VL decides the tiebreakers. Basically, if you win against a team that places higher up, you get more points in your strength of victory because, in theory, you've beaten a better team. And so that win against Hentai Haven, if they're tied 4th and 5th, and only it's from 4 and upwards that goes through, that strength of victory, that win against Hentai Haven could be everything. But FireFlies, we can do all the maths, we can do all the speculation, but they've still got a hell of a game to go out on against the strongest team in VL.
Exactly. Currently, Meat is boosted. By the way, one of the best team names I've ever seen. Meat is boosted, sitting at, I believe, 3 victories and 1 loss as of now at first place, while Hentai Haven and FireFlies sit at 2 victories and 2 losses at second and third place. So there's still a lot to be seen. There's still a lot of theories to be done and to see what will actually come through in the end. And, since you seem to know a bit more about Valorant League, is there one player you think we should keep our eye on from the first match?
That is a very good question. If I had to go for one, it would have to be these bot laners in Zenvious and Chiwei Lee. I mean, if you look at the bans that go against both these teams, it is always Zenvious is Ezreal, Chiwei Zeri. It is always targeting these bot lanes in the first 3 bans, and you see it in their games, Zenvious is Ezreal, a one trick that just pops off over and over again, has played the Lucian, the Jhin, and can just play so well, paired up with Sesh King, who is a more aggressive support, has just been so dominant in that bot lane, and especially with this meta, 13.12. Well, I could say 13.12, I could say 12.12. It's been a bot lane focused meta for the past God knows how long. But because of that...
I'm going to correct you on that one. I'm going to correct a bit on that one. It's not a bot focused meta, is a Zeri against Lucian focused meta. we need to be precise about things because we have seen probably Zeri Lucian for the past like 15 patches without any sort of change, and we finally see more and more AD carries come through right now, even with some bit of Lucian and Zeri still. But I think we can manage some new picks, something like the Ezreal. As you said, Zenvious, quite a one trick on that pick, but I think it's still going to be excited. Personally, Ezreal, one of the most exciting champions to watch.
And let's not count out the fact that Chiwei Lee also plays Ezreal. He played it against the Ablaze game that was in game in that 3-game banger against Ablaze. So Chiwei Lee also has it pocketed. We can also talk about, Chiwei Lee doesn't just play it. Sorry, I should say this. When we're in a Valorant League stream, every single time, no matter what, we have to talk about Jinx because it's always picked, it's always there. And Chiwei's Jinx has been really scary. It's won, I think, almost every time it's been played. So expect hyper carries on bot lane with Kez playing that supportive role.
I mean, it's just so simple to play again, around the Jinx, right? You pick up a Protect the President composition, something that can stay together with the Jinx, that can stay in front of the Jinx, and maybe something that can get her to an easy reset and pop that passive up immediately as soon as she joins a fight. So I can see why the Jinx has been contested, but I'm still excited to see which way the Ezreal goes, if he goes into the banned list or into the picks. So that's going to be a pretty exciting matchup up in the bot side. Who do you think should we look more from mid to top? Who has maybe the strongest mid jungle in your opinion? I see a guy that's named. I'm not an Elise main. What can we say? What can we say?
So the funniest thing, so his name is Josh. He is one of the casters for Div 3. Amazing guy. Actually, a bit of history about FireFlies. They used to play in Div 3 and went on to win that entire tournament against one of my teams in Frostbite Mystics. And that's how they're in Div 2. And Elise, Josh is such an amazing jungler, but doesn't end up getting banned on that Elise because he doesn't end up picking it. If we look at Ananoka, his mid laner plays control mages, Victor Talia. Top lane is an island, so we don't really see a lot of action around there. So Elise, as a dive-heavy, aggressive jungler, I think Josh just hasn't turned towards. And we've seen things like Sejuani, Jarvan. I think a Mumu might play a big factor with Mimi Shield being a main on a Mumu. But, your traditional, engage-heavy, starting the fight off champs, and Josh has really proven it throughout this season.
I have to agree with you on that note. You can't really take the Elise when you have maybe a control mage player in the mid lane, or when you have a not so aggressive top side, like you said, a top laner that's on an island. The pieces just don't fit at all if you have an Elise in that case. And junglers have been preferring to, pick something like things like the Amumu, like the Jarvan, things that can just work on 2 items and you don't even need more. You know how it goes. Everything is around the AD carries lately. Uh, as an AD carry main, I have to say I'm pretty happy, but it's just so hard. You have so much responsibility to be the hero of a game that it can get stressing quite quickly.
Absolutely. But there is an X factor here that I would like to point out, and that is Demon. Now, he is no stranger to playing tanks, the Cho'Gath, Ornn, Malphite. We've seen it, we know the business, but he has been able to dip into his champion pool and pull out Yorick, which was very exciting against, I think it was Centurion. I will have to double check that. But things against Kale, Silas, Kaoya, the top laner for Meters Boosted, can't just play Sion and Ord and just know there's not going to be any challenge in that lane, because Demon can go for something like a Kale if he wants to punish that tank scaling. So watch out for Demon in these drafts in that second phase, because we could get some spice coming from the top lane.
And since you mentioned the Sion, right now we've seen some Sion jungle pop up, so we never know when that pick can be flexed. I'm not really sure if our resident Elise main actually plays it, but at the same time, it's something we've seen in more professional leagues, and we know that Valence League is the most professional out of all leagues. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see some pretty serious stuff in this best of 3. Quick reminder, of course, it's a best of 3, so the first team that gets to 2 victories win. I'm pretty sure your, Valent League experts already know this, but as I said, first team that gets to 2 gets the Sears, gets the 3 points, and manages to probably have their place set up inside at least the top three of the group.
Absolutely. And one more thing to note here as well, as we are just about to get into game in about a minute's time, so we will have that set up first. Nope, the point escaped me, other than the fact that qualifying in the top 4 out of 6 in this group will secure for the playoffs. We've had a little bit of odd numbered brackets with 6 in Group A. This is the group that we're on, and 5 in Group B. But I cannot stress how important this game is. If FireFlies lose here, it is all down to their opponents to whether they get through or not. You know, FireFlies have got to throw everything at this against a very dominant and a legacy team as well, I should say. Meters Boosted has been in VL for quite a while, so a lot to crack here from FireFlies, but they have won in the past, so I wouldn't bet against them.
Looking at the standings, it's not only the top 3 teams of the group that have a chance at making it. We still have a Blaze, we still have Centurion. Centurion still have to play 2 games before they end their split, so everything can still happen. They could still go to 3 victories and 2 losses. A Blaze could win their last game and go to 3 victories and 2 losses. So everything is still possible. And I wouldn't rule out any of the teams as of now, apart maybe from Metis Boosted, who I think has already made it through at this point.
Yes, I would say so as well. I just want to get a quick note from production if we are ready to go straight into draft, because yeah, amazing. Thank you, production. So we are all ready. We've just let the notes, send it to the teams so that draft can get underway. And here we have draft now. So excited. FireFlies versus Meat is boosted. I just cannot wait.
The first part of every single league match starts with a chess game. A chess game that's called Draft Phase, in which we see the bans and the picks, and we see which things get prioritized since the beginning. So the first game, I think it's one of the most important, because if some team picks something really spicy, something really niche that actually gets to work, then that pick becomes important for the rest of the best of 3. As of now, we see a lot of AD carry bans, and that's exactly what you said in the beginning, Alex. That bot side is going to be quite volatile.
Yeah, as we said before, Zenvious, that Ezreal 1 trick AD carry, gets banned in every game. So we see that banned out. Actually, 3 bans going to bot side, too, so you know how volatile this is. On the side of FireFlies, I also like this as well. Olaf tends to get banned out because it's such a strong blind pick from the side of that top lane. Kai'Sa and the Akali going towards Cutis Ket. He's been playing it in solo queue. He's been popping off in solo queue. Xayah, it's a contested pick in the ADC. I wouldn't be at all surprised it being picked with all the ADCs being taken out.
One of the safer AD carry options. Surely the Xayah manages to stay alive quite well against a well-composed dive, and even manages to self-peel for herself as soon as she gets that level 6. Now, the Rakan is still open in case they want to get that pairing up the bot side, but it's still up for picking. The Varus is going to be the counterpoint at the AD carry position, and now we wait for more. Now they show the Rakan, and they could split the couple here. I would like the Bard. That would be pretty fun, but I think they're going for the Rakan here.
Yeah, this is a Kez special. In fact, this exact pairing of champions was played last week as well. Not only taking it away from the Xayah, but this is, I think, Kez's most played champion in solo queue. So this is something Sesh King will have been prepared for. The Pike very much still up. The Amumu as well, taking out that way from Mimik's Shield, and with that Pike as well that's being hovered. This is very traditional, very comfort for FireFlies.
You said in the beginning, Akunoga and Sesh King are a pretty aggressive bot side, and together with that Pike against an AD carry without any sort of flash, that's going to be quite deadly. And now the point is, how do you protect this Varus? Sure, the Rakan is going to go in. You're going to have that dive potential over the enemy backside, but what do you pick here? Do you take something to go together with the Rakan or something to peel for the Varus? Well, Maokai does a bit of both.
Yeah, it has been very strong for Mimik's Shield in the past. We've seen it before. I would have actually maybe liked a solo lane pick here, especially red side, that R3, that R5, such flexible counter picks. I don't know if Maokai needs to be picked up there, But Meat Shield might be thinking his champ pool could be a bit squeezed in that second phase. I completely understand it. It's not like it's a bad pick. And with Victor, we're expecting those control mages coming out in the second phase. The solo laners yet to pick.
Just a quick stat, because we really like nice numbers. Xemvious has, I believe, a 69% win rate on Aurelion Sol.
Nice.
Nice, exactly.
It is Akanoka who is on Aurelion Soul, who's playing for the mid lane. Yeah, we do believe we have a little bit of a mix around. Yes, but absolutely, his Aurelion Soul often gets banned out. It is very strong, has a lot of vision denial. I know a couple of people who've been annoyed at Aurelion Soul for not doing as much damage as they would like. But oh my god, look at this. It is Victor and it is Talia, two very common mid laners picked by Ananoka. The Silas banned out as well is a heavily pinched mid lane pool for both these mid laners.
And we just wait to see if actually Akanoka will go for that control mage up the mid lane. That would be quite good together with an Amumu, able to amplify that magic damage and make it a deadly combo. But at the moment, we're still waiting for the red side forward pick. Jungle, support, and AD carry are picked, and the Gwen is hovered and selected.
I had this in my notes, but I thought this would have been a counter pick into some sort of tank. I saw that the Cho'Gath, it could have been a very contested pick. It's something that both top laners have played a lot, but the Gwen blind is going to be very interesting. I think Meat is boosted might be looking for a 4-1, looking for that Gwen, if they think they've got enough tanky and engage. I do like this, and with the Jace hovered as well, both these tanks players, traditional tank players, mind you, might be going all out, LPL top lane in game 1, and I'm all here for it.
What? Urpog?
Oh my god, Urpog?
Urpog?
Is it still guarding Urpog?
Is it not?
Good?
Is it
no
not?
way.
No, come on.
It's
you
top
were
lane.
hyping it. You were hyping it so much, like the Jace against Gwen LPL style clash in the top side, and no, he just goes straight for the Simon. Come on, what is this? I can't say I'm. I can say I'm a bit disappointed in this, but this is quite interesting because the Renekton gets locked in. So where's that Gwen going?
So I'm just going to say right off the bat now, Renekton is not in my notes. But I do think that's probably, if I had to guess, that's probably going to go into the mid lane against the Orianna. Can be very strong as like a Pantheon-esque champion. So level 2, level 3 in that mid lane can just dive straight on you. It's a very all-in, very engage-heavy. And with not as much disengage as I would like on the side of FireFlies, I can certainly see it. But with that Xayah self-peel, with that Curse of the Sad Mummy and Shockwave, it's very playable for FireFlies as well. And yeah, some very different approaches to drafting game 1 here.
You could say that FireFlies has the easier front to back right here together with the Sion, with the Amumu. You have a clear front line. You have the Orianna and the Xayah peeling for themselves. It's pretty hard to get over that backside, and you have the dive potential of the Pyke, the potential to find people off position and punish them immediately. Now, it's going to be quite a task for Meat is boosted to protect that Varus up, because danger could come from every single angle, and Varus isn't known for his mobility.
Absolutely. And I think it very much comes down to when you have both teams with a lot of pick potential, it very much comes to which team makes the least mistakes or who doesn't make that last mistake. And with Pyke and Amumu, come on, we've got Maokai, Rakan. These ADCs and mid laners have got to understand their roles, not feel themselves too much, because one coordinated play, one 4-stack in a brush, and the game swings right back to the other team. So you've got to be on your toes if you are any of these carries.
It's also interesting to know if this Renekton will actually manage to get some sort of push against the Orianna, because in a ranged against melee matchup usually is the ranged champion that comes on top on that aspect and can move outside of lane first. So if you put that together with the power of a Pyke, that's going to be quite a roaming duo coming up from FireFlies, with Akanoka and Seshking being first on the move. Curious to see if Elise May will actually manage to do the same. That could be quite a deadly trio right from the start of the game.
Yeah, I mean, this Renekton was picked as a counter pick, so Meters Boosted very much were prepared for this and very much wanted to pick it. So if this is what they've been cooking up in draft, if this is what they've prepared for, then I'm absolutely here for it. With things like Zaya and Oriana, we could very much see those dashes, those slice and dices coming in very strong. We also see a lot of damage, sort of high DPS for both sides. So I'm not too worried about these tanks. But if something like this Zaya doesn't get rolling, that aggressive bot lane can't be utilized too much, can't be getting those early dragons as it should be, then Fireflies are in a problem if they don't get rolling in this early game.
I agree. Damage could be lacking if this Zaya doesn't get on top of the lane right from the start. And on the other side, I've just noticed something. We have Mr. Meat Shield in the jungle. I think he lives up to his name because he's the only Meat Shield in his own team. Like I guess Gwen can absorb some damage with that Hollowed Mist, but apart from that, it's only the Maokai as a frontline. The Renekton will probably go down almost immediately with all the damage we see on Fireflies' side. So Meat Shield will probably have to get some sort of tankier build to be the frontline, to be, you know, the start of every single engage, but at the same time, we'll have to peel for that Varus. So it will be quite hard to coordinate, but I think Meat is boosted since they're the first place team. They know what they are doing, as you said before.
Yeah, and having played in the curling championship, Gwen can also be seen here as actually a good siege champion. With that hallowed mist, you become untargetable, get buy a lot of space for your other champions because Renekton, Maokai, Rakan not known for their range in hitting towers. So you could understand Gwen as someone who can get those towers objectives down easier and be able to approach towers without that Zaya, Oriana, a Mumu long range engage just messing you up. So I can like that pick. I really like it in theory. We actually won in semifinals in curling using Gwen as a push champion. Me as a Malzahar playing 3 screens away. So it was very it was very helpful. So I do love the pick. I'd love to see it pop off. And in game one, Kayoya not going to any tank and playing a carry, wanting his team on his back. I love the confidence. And with the Ghost and TP that we have looking at this loading screen, she's going all in.
Hell yeah, I want to see that Gwen pop off completely. I want to see the needlework. I want to see the 1v2s in top side. There's quite a lot of potential if you ask me, but it's going to be quite hard if our Resident Elise main decides to stay up that top side for long. I still think our eyes should be in the bot side where it can be quite volatile between Chiwei and Zenvious. And we have two of the most aggressive supports. Rakan has received so many buffs over the last patches and has made him a laning monster with both healing and engage potential. It's going to be quite interesting to see how those 2v2s are going to go and which way the junglers are going to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we are just about to make sure that production and we are all synced up in game with the right timers, you know how it goes, folks. I'm currently at 10 seconds. So if we want to coordinate around that, would that be okay for both of you?
Yep.
Oh, that is no worries. Production just, we're having some technical difficulties. So we will be just waiting here for a second. It's no worries. This happened last week with me as well when I was on production. So there is no worries. And it just gives us more time to talk about such an interesting melee heavy focused team from draft from the side of Meters Boosted. And I think, if they can't get on the side of this Oriana on this Sire, especially with the Curse of the Sad Mummy, the Scion being the big beefy guy that he is, I could see very much of a range differential play a factor here for the side of Fireflies.
Yeah, there's so many tools and so many actual, meat shields that can block the key engage potential skill shots of Meat is boosted. Things like the Nature's Advance that can be blocked so easily by a big and bulky Scion. It's just so easy to think about. It's Zenvious staying up behind that beefy front line, behind all that all those layers of protection, and you're going to have Ket trying to find maybe creative angles to get on that AD carry. It's still going to be quite hard because you even have an Oriana to deal with, so one of the highest damages you could find in a control mage. So it's not an easy task, as you said, for Meat is boosted, but I totally think it's possible. Well, on the other side, I want to return to something you said before, the Gwen. That Hallowed Mist makes a really good siege champion. And if you see the carries on the side of Fireflies, they're not a high range AD carry. They're not something like a Samira or a Nyla that can actually engage close range. They're mid range mages and AD carries. It's not easy to get on that Gwen.
Yeah, no worries, as I'm just getting word from production that we will actually be starting this from 1 minute. It's okay, this is just the way that replays happen due to when you load into the replay at a certain time. I don't think we'll be missing too much action if I just tab up to make sure that production is all stuck at 1 minute. So yeah, we're at 1 minute, so we'll just be getting into game. Are we all ready, Saprix? Saprix.
Yep, we're all ready.
All right, so as we just had production there, syncing up the timers, we should be all into game now. A typical 1v1. I'm not play-by-play, so I don't know why I usually do play-by-play. So please, play-by-play, I'm going to...
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, I think the most interesting thing we could talk about is we've already seen some pings around the map with Akonoka being pinged in that top side bush. Now going back to lane, and both junglers are starting up the top side and going straight for the bot side. Probably, as we said, that part of the map is probably going to be more volatile than the rest.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2023 as a jungle main. It's just going top to bot. Maokai with the solo clear start on the Raptors. I nerded out about this clear on Div 3 last time. The idea is you take Raptors and Krugs first so that they respawn on your second clear, so you won't have respawned, and you get the level 3 of Raptors and Krugs, so you get extra experience and gold by taking them first. There's another idea about making sure, as we see a huge trade. Kiyoya getting that.
Kiyoya. Even popping the Conqueror there, so a trade fully in favor of the Gwen. Now Poor Demon will have to find a way to get back to lane right here. We'll have to play under his own tower for a bit.
Yeah, so clearly the League of Legends gods don't want me to nerd out about jungle paths, which understood. Trendamir, thank you very much for letting me know. Would like to talk maybe about these runes while we have a little bit of time here. Mumu going for the Conqueror, it's not exactly new or interesting, but the fact is if you're going up against 3-4 melee people going on you, they're having that heal, having that extra damage, sustain in fights is going to be helpful. In addition, Pyke going for the Hail of Blades, knowing he wants to trade early and aggressively into lane, but Varus and Rakan have the first shove, and it's the support roaming first. 4 meters boosted.
It's only level 2 for both Chewy and Kez, and Rakan has the first move now. This Orianna is pretty set up in this mid lane, in a pretty safe position. It's even hovering towards the bot side where Amumu is standing, so I don't think we're going to see anything of relevance at the moment. The push seems to be in the hands of the Renekton right now. With Kez homing around that mid lane, a flash away from the Orianna, so already some sort of action here.
Yeah, good roam from Kez there, understanding the state of the wave, knowing that Khan is, as we see a big fight happening on top side.
Okay, that's a ghost from Kiyoya. It's gonna have to follow that Sion up until his own tower. The true damage is not quite enough to finish it up. It's just gonna be a retreat for the moment.
Oh my god, domination on top side. Potentially a fight in top side, but Meters Boosted is here.
I mean, they're always fighting. What's happening around the map? Kez from mid lane to bot side. Again, I see flashes, I see ghosts. Everything is happening in the first 4 minutes of the game. Is this normal?
Yeah, welcome to VL.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be so interesting as we see a little bit of a jungle strap.
I'm so sorry for you. You just can't talk because as soon as you say that, we see another hook, another flash, another ignite, and the first blood that goes to Seshking in the end. With Ket having to run away now, I think we're going to see yet another flash popped up. Yes, still getting catched by the tongue lash. Will just be another kill that goes to Akonoka, so it's a 2-0 start for FireFlies.
Yeah, lovely collapse from Fireflies. They knew they had the members. Renekton was just caught out of position. Brilliant there. They're actually playing around the top bot side, but there's another fight in top side as well. It's all kicking off.
It's always Zion just running away from this Gwen, dominant over the top side. But no kills, no 1v1s. Right now, there's going to be a dragon available, and the spots of vision seems to indicate that.
Yeah, we
see
talked
a red dominance over that river.
Yeah, we talked about Fireflies needing an early game advantage, making sure to start stacking those dragons, and by golly, I mean, they're doing it. You know, great vision in that bottom river as well. They're going to be using to translate that into an ocean dragon, which is fine by itself, gives you a bit more sustainability and sustain. Orianna doing very well so far against this very scary Renekton in the mid lane.
That trade is not exactly doing well, at least in my book.
Yeah, I mean, you're surviving. I'm probably 0 and 2 at this point, so the fact you can scare down a very big croc as a measly robot and you're winning. Level 6 for Kyo, could be in death here.
Seems to be out of danger, maybe not. Pops the Hallowed Mist, and I think for like the 5th time, we're gonna see this sign running away on the other side in the mid lane. Quick Shockwave gets used by Akunoka trying to bait Cat in, but there doesn't seem to be enough action. Rakan gets spotted. There's a ping with Sesh King actually making his way up the mid lane.
So many people around mid lane. They see the low health bars. They know something's about to happen. Pike kicks it off.
Level 6 for the Renekton. The ground entrance goes onto the Pike and he gets taken out immediately. Topside instead, it's quite another story. Kiyoya getting punished after trying to proxy this wave. It's still going to be 2 people trying to hunt him down with a flash up. The Elise main actually gets it and gifts it to Borodima, so it's not an uneven trade in the end.
Yeah, a nice 1-for-1 there as Kiyoya just punished a little bit for moving up too far, but you saw how ready Meat was boosted, was ready for that mid lane fight, bringing 3 members. I think Meat Shield was there for like 10 seconds in that top lane brush, but it very much paid off. And even though I was talking Caster Curse coming through once again, I was talking about Fireflies setting up for this bot dragon. It's actually Meat is boosted, getting the first drink.
Okay, I think we can finally take a breather. Like, finally, I quite need one. 7 minutes into the game, sure, only 4 kills, but we've seen so much action. Level 5 now for the Amu, level 5 for the Maokai. They're probably waiting for that level 5, and there's Herald spawning up in just a few seconds. So who do you think has the advantage right now in terms of vision, in terms of position? Because I think with this Gwen being this dominant, we can expect Meat is boosted to focus up on that top side.
Yeah, just looking at the minimap now, the vision that Meat is boosted invested on that bot side play was extreme. Lit up like a Christmas tree down there. Kiyoya, this top lane, has just been trade after trade with it all popped.
Like, he's going to get the charge away from it, but I think that's quite the wrong direction. He's going to find quite an angry Maokai there. And it's just a matter of gifting the kill to Kiyoya, going to 1-1 and has the Dark Seal, so that's going to be even extra AP.
Yeah, my jungle brain is screaming, play around this Gwen. You don't have a lot of answers from the side of Fireflies. You can match a Gwen in a 1v1 or get good D-push. This Gwen needs to be played around, get proxying, get dives. This is such a good opportunity for Meat is Boosted to use the talents of Kiyoya and just pull Fireflies away from the 5v5 that they want to play. This could be disaster going forward for Fireflies.
It's also nice to see Kiyoya actually stepping up and being a carry. Even Cat now decides to step up. The Shockwave goes wide. And Yamumu still tries to follow, gets the Tongue Lash again. The Dominus gets popped, but it's not enough to survive. Cat goes down 0-2 on that Renekton. It's not exactly working.
Ult used to very much secure that kill, make sure that last bit of damage is taken off, but 2-0 on Orianna is very nice. But I would like to point out that even though Fireflies are ahead in 2 kills, you know, they've got the damage down, the fact is they're not even up 1k head in gold, and that is because the CS difference on top side is incredible. Almost double CS at like 9 minutes is incredible. I cannot understate how strong this Gwen is going to keep getting throughout this game.
Especially if left in isolation, this Gwen is going to get even bigger than now. Has a 30 CS advantage, is pushing for that flame horizon a lot of top laners like to do when they're dominant. And we can already see some more jungle action up the top side with both the Maokai and Yamumu being right there.
Yeah, this is Meat is boosted. Having the same jungle incense ult popped is gonna be ambitious.
That's quite pushed up. The Hallowed Mist is still not used. Poor Demon has to take quite a lot of damage while the Needlework still goes through. The Tongue Lash doesn't block Kiyoya immediately, but a quick punch to the face will have Poor Demon getting his revenge at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Mimi is boost, Mimi shield. Very much knowing that top side needs to be play around. Sesh King actually hunting for this Maokai.
He has the 6, he could do it. The hooks lands, and I think the Maokai flashed away. Yep, he flashed away the execution just in time.
Yeah, so, very well done.
Unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, just used in time as well. I mean, that could have been, I don't know if that was a mechanical thing or if that is just Pyke's CC timers. But yeah, very good not to give over the gold there to the Pyke. Obviously, with that execution passive, that gold will also translate to the Elise. Sorry, not the Elise, the Scion. Sorry, it would go to the Scion because they were the last to hit it. So it wouldn't have been too bad. But in stopping this Gwen, who I feel like I've talked about for every single 20 seconds I've been on air, is going to be a problem. Have I gotten through to you? This Gwen is going to be a problem. Oh,
this Gwen is going to be a problem. And even the Amumu, if he goes straight up for the mid lane again, Ket just can't catch a break. Yet again, he falls. He goes to 3 deaths. And as soon as the action finishes in the mid lane, we see yet another trade that takes half HP out of board.
Oh, it's caster on caster violence, but Josh gets the best of it. This Rift Herald popped in the mid lane. Really agree with it. Akunoka has been playing nothing but amazing. 2-0-1 with a nice bounty. This is going to accelerate her even more. And when you have a team coming into you trying to engage, an Orianna with a good shockwave and consistent heavy damage from afar could completely undo Mita's boosted strategy.
I also want you to look at the amount of vision that they have around that Orianna. Both the entrances up the mid lane are covered, so that Orianna is going to be quite safe. Not the same can be said against this Varus. The feathers will fall in the end as the level 5 is still up for the Rakan, so Zemgears will have to kind of kite it out a bit. It's 3 members from Meat is boosted trying to get that Pyke. They will probably get it in the end as Zemgears flashes away and recalls the feathers. Huge damage done to that front line. But it only leaves Zemgears quite alone against the pretty angry Renekton. He finishes it up, and Meat is boosted, go again in a dominant position.
Got a huge scrappy fight. Honestly, I saw Sesh King, even though the bot lane did go down, he was playing that so well until the end when that X marks the spot just went wide. He was playing so well, playing aggressively when he needed to, and then playing around Zemvius, getting the stuns, and played really well. But when you send 4 members of Meastons boosted reacting so well, this could translate into a second Drake if they are able to stop this Amumu. And yeah, Mita's boosted doing very well at stopping this bot side aggression.
I think props have to be given to Cat moving first from the mid lane, even though he's not doing the best, but have to keep our eyes on this bot side river with the Maokai getting blocked up, a double stun, a shockwave, another knock-up. Tries to make it a grand escape, but no, the Rakan will fall down, and the same fate will go to the Meat Shield. Well, Meat is boosted just can't really rejoice their advantage because they already lose another skirmish.
I mean, they walked in with jungle support and no damage into a place where you knew that FireFlies had vision and had the advantage. So they're going to lose that fight. You had Cutis Cat and Chiweili try and salvage it, trying to get some stuff off, but it ends up being a 2-for-0, and they stop any sort of dragging stacking. So just a very overconfident and a bit sloppy from Mita's boosted there.
I have to say, Elise main has been everywhere around the map, from mid lane to top side to bot side. I feel like every single time I pan around my camera, he's there. He's always there. And the KDA, it shows. He has almost 100% kill participation, and we already see him back up again. Straight into action, maybe this time a bit too far. Level 9 on Yamu has to flash away, the TP comes through, so Zemgears will have to run away with Kiyoya focusing down the Amumu. I think I've talked way too soon. The feathers fly yet up again, waiting to recall them inside a Hollow Mist, blocking that Gwen. And I think it's done for the moment. No, Kiyoya still push it for the Xayah, and he gets it. Seshkin, quickest sidestep. But I think he will make it out alive in the end. By the
redive.
Oh no, man. Can't really make it, can he? He gets the execution onto the Varus. He goes straight up again, trying to escape, but no, a quick slap to the face. gets the pike in the end. It's scrappy. It's so damn scrappy, but it's so fun.
Wow, that was really good by Sesh King. I have given him props even when the bot side plays weren't going well. You can see his mechanical ability and be able to go 1-for-1 when you had that Gwen going, Sion died. That just happened.
That happened.
But yeah, other than that, it was, great by him. And because of all that action on the bot side, Anoka is just getting free farm and able to get this top tower. This Orianna is going to be even further ahead. So yeah, a battle of the AP damage here from bot, mid, and top here. Can't wait for some more of these fights.
Ako has been pretty alone, like strangely alone for the majority of the game. He's 3-0, he has a pretty good kill participation and has that Leandry already completed, so he's going to be quite effective in the next fights if we get to see some. But at the moment, I think what FireFlies need to do is focus up all their forces in this mid lane. That tower is soon to fall.
Yeah, and if we get an item check, we have our big first items completed now. The Youmuu's on Renekton is going to really help him close the distance on those backline champions. The Shirelias with no item completed on the enemy support of Sesh King is going to be really helpful closing the distance as well. We see other items as well, but those two items just say perfectly what they want to do. Q2Scat trying to go on to Anoka.
Eyes on that bone plating, blocking most of the damage done by that Renekton. As you said, he has that Youmuu's completed, so we can't really underestimate the Renekton. He got 2 kills in the last exchange, so right now it's pretty much stronger than he ever was. Top side, another story. I think Parademon finally can respond in some way to Keioya, but Keioya quickly reminds him that the Needlework is much more stronger than that. Here comes the Elise main, gets the Amumu ultimate, he blocks him twice, and I think it's a done deal right now, but no, the TP comes through and the cavalry is here. The Maokai comes through, and I think the TP was a bit too much, but in the end they get it.
Yeah, it very much was, but huge props to Keioya, who is proving her worth in this game in spades. Beautiful, turning that 2v1. You talked about having a 2v1 for Gwen. Well, she very much has showed up, making sure to juggle the aggro as well as possible and getting so much damage out of that Conqueror with the Rift Maker picked up. You cannot underestimate her as they turn onto the Rift Herald.
And we should also think about what you said in the beginning. If this Xayah doesn't get the ball rolling right from the start, then the FireFlies are going to have quite a few problems, and that's exactly what's happening. At 17 minutes into the game, this Xayah still doesn't have her first item, while on the other side, the Varus is sitting with that Kraken Slayer. So FireFlies need to do something about this Xayah. They're trying to move her in the mid lane, but she's not getting much at the moment.
Yeah. Ooh, a little bit of note there.
Ooh, that's quite nice, Charm. The feathers fall, so that's a Xayah ultimate down. And Metis Boosted should keep that in mind. Parademon should also keep up in mind that Keioya can just do that whenever he wants, and he should not walk up that easily. Mid lane, another time, and another arrow that doesn't land, and a flash used by Chiwei.
Yeah, Ghost on a lower cooldown than the Flash is just giving Gwen so much value, so much quicker than the Flash of Sion, who just cannot get away from this Gwen, who is just running him down. With Dragon up next time and Metis Boosted just in the area with numbers, this should be an easy take for Metis Boosted.
It's a tandem of 4 people. With, all of them going now onto Zenvius. Doesn't have that ultimate from before. Remember, you can recall the feathers, but you can't escape the action. So it's a 4v5 immediately. Elise May just straight up walks in the middle of them with a shockwave on top of him. He does have the Amumu ultimate, but I think it's a bit too late right now. So many members of FireFlies fall down, and it's Sesh King getting the retaliate in the end on one member. Here comes the train, it's the sign coming through, it's getting hooked, and it's the execution not coming through. It's still Metis Boosted, just straight up rolling them over the floor. The mid lane is filled with the FireFlies ghosts right now as Metis Boosted quickly turn their attention to the Drake.
I know the Amumu with an Orianna ball sounds invincible, but not literally, as you can't just run into 4 people and expect it all to go well, especially as one of your carries just already went down. That shows you, we were talking about this earlier, these pick-style comps that's so easy to get onto you. It's about who doesn't make as most mistakes. And we're seeing that from FireFlies consistently in these choice of FireFlies, also from Meters Boosted as well. But if they keep playing like this is going to be a consistent problem in the series.
You can't say it wasn't funny though. You know, like, seeing an Amumu just straight up walk in the middle of 5 people with a shockwave on top of him, that was fun to see. I mean,
it's like season 1 like walk animation, like with no. Reminds me of like the old Udia. Like you saw, I remember he came out at the same time as Samira. I think it was like an old Dumbs video where you see her like casting everything, and you go like to Udia. It's just like basic auto attacking. Yeah, it was bad.
Pretty much the same happened right now. Good. So now it's time to actually try and reset a bit your mentality. Because FireFlies are not doing that well. Xayah finally has their first item. It's going to be a Storm Razor. And we're going to have to set our eyes over the top side because the Baron is up. So both teams could look to pull some shenanigans around that side of the map, but for now the action seems to be up the bot side.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, if you want to get back into this game, at least I think what's going to get back into the game is some action. Shirelia's popped is going to be interesting. Fight's happening.
Okay, it's just an Elise main, just standing alone in the middle of 5 people. Gets the ultimate, so he gets the curse of the Sadamami up, and a huge shockwave that lands onto multiple people. Gets so many execution, and it's all for the taking for Sesh King. It's all him finishing up the ranks of Meaty's Boosted. It's quite magical. It was so fun to see, and it's time for them to shine now.
You're fighting into a choke point, engaging into Xayah with the feathers, into Orianna with the shockwave, and so many slows and disengage. You're just going to get, no matter how far this Xayah is behind, her feathers recall are going to get so much value, and they just ended up getting so many health bars down. And when FireFlies were able to turn, you had the health bars down so quickly. That's, again, just overconfidence there from Meters Boosted.
It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen casting League of Legends. I have to be honest. A shockwave with an Amumu ultimate, with Bike just getting all those executions. Come on. Right now they must feel pretty pumped, I would have to say. I think it's finally time for FireFlies to come back into the game. And you can also see that Xayah has the Navori Quick Blades. That fight was vital for them.
Yeah, but you've got to remember, it is still, no matter how pumped you're feeling, no matter how much you're feeling yourself, we see here with Kez, if you get picked, that, you can't fight off 5 members, and that will swing these fights around Baron that we see the teams setting up for. With the Umbral Grave now for Pyke is huge. Being able to control this vision that you didn't have with the Youmuu's first item is going to be so helpful setting up those picks. So yeah, this is going to be a lot more dangerous for Meters Boosted now.
We should also start putting our eyes on the TPs. Right now, both the Renekton and the Sign are relegated over the bot side of the map, but the Sign doesn't have a TP in case a fight were to blow up. That's a shockwave used by Eiko, so quite a huge cooldown that he will not have for some seconds now, but I don't think we're going to see much action, just a game of vision.
Yeah, and especially with the Scion pushed in so much, he can't use that unstoppable onslaught to run up the river and straight into Baron. Because he's pushed so far, there's a jungle in between there. But because he is Scion, and because Scion can just do these things according to Riot, Cutis Ket can be a bit far ahead. He can be higher in CS by 60, but Scion can still 1v1 him because Riot Games.
That surely didn't happen for the last like 50 patches, with the Hull Breaker and the Lethality Scion, even Tank Scion can just do this, and just slap a Renekton up in the face and win the trade. That's pretty much normal. So I think Meaty's Boosted is smelling the fact that the Scion still doesn't have the TP. And they need to set up vision around the Baron. They're starting it up, and they have a Gwen, so the true damage is gonna be come quite in handy. Let's see if they actually decide to finish it. Doesn't seem like it.
They're trying to look for a pick.
That's a hook. That's the trade coming in the mid lane. It lands onto the Maokai, and together with the Grand Entrance kits, makes for an easy engage. The feathers fall, and the Renekton gets caught off immediately. The Varus flash over the other side of the wall with Zambius still trying to make the Feathers fly and making the Feathers fall. Sesh King is the one to make the heads drop instead in the mid lane with only Chiwei standing tall. It's gonna be on Keioya to be the hero of the fight. He's still snipping and it's only Eiko now standing tall, has the Howled Mist, but I think both of them are just gonna call it a day and go home. I mean, it's a 4-4-4 and nobody gets absolutely any objective out of it.
Yeah, and again, we have the two strongest AP carries from both teams surviving, but I still think that was on meters boosted there. You are engaging into Azaya, you are trying to get him down, and you keep getting feathers recalled. No matter how much movement speed you have, you can have an infinite amount of movement speed, but if you're stunned, you can't move. And this Saya works so well when you're being engaged upon. The disengage is there, and they're not being able to play around it. Good on Gwen for putting more pressure, getting this soul point. But yeah, Meters Boost has got to clean up these fights because they should be winning these comfortably, if I'm honest.
It's still sloppy. It's still so sloppy by Meters Boosted. I agree with you. This Gwen has a 700 gold bounty on her head, has 3 items, has 10 stacks of Dark Seal. This Gwen should be at the center of every single action you do, but at the moment, she's just the one finishing up every single kill. Well, on the other side, this Zaya, even though after she had a rough start, she's managing to come back into the game quite easily now. We see the game of vision now getting played again with Poro Demon, trying to push up that top side. We'll have to...
Yeah, no, I was just going to point out, this is better from the side of the vision control from Sesh King. FireFlies much more able to walk in and around Baron, even though they've got the same amount of members here. I do love this translation. This is what we were talking about before, that Gwen needs to split push. She can grab the blue buff while she's there as well, but she might actually already have it. Yeah, she does. Sorry, that's my bad. But the fact is, she is the one who's going to be able to put the pressure down. She's the one who's going to bulldoze through towers, not the Renekton. And so with this now, this is going to cause FireFlies so much more hurt.
I mean, you have to send at least 2 people on that Gwen to actually try to kill her or block her. That tower in the bot side of the map is pretty low, so I think just with a Howled Mist, she will be able to take it quite easily. Akonoga still decides to stay, gets slowed down by the first needlework. The Shockwave will push Keioya back, but I think it just takes... Okay, just like that, he just pops up the Orianna.
Orianna can split push, but not into a Gwen that can just run you down with that needlework. And with Anoka down, this is huge. Meters Boosted can trade that into a 5v4 around the Baron, or they can just use Keioya to just put more pressure on the side lane and pull FireFlies apart. Right now, a reset to spend those items, and we're now at a 4-item Gwen with 10 stacks of Dark Steel. Very strong. But yeah, whatever this Gwen decides to do, it is going to be problems for FireFlies.
Keioya seems to want to start grouping up a bit more, especially together with the Meat Shield, you know. It's 27 minutes into the game. The Baron is still up, so both teams will set their eyes on that side of the map. We see Elise May now lurking in the bushes, trying to gain every single bit of information they can. I think we're going to see some dance around the Baron pretty soon.
Yeah, but this dance can't happen forever, especially with next Infernal Dragon at 2 minutes and 8 seconds. If Meters Boosted take it, it is Infernal Soul. And the damage that this Gwen, that this long-range Varus is going to be able to put down is increased tenfold with that huge burst proc from the Dragon Soul. So FireFlies are still on a timer, and with the engage, it might not look good.
Okay, that's quite a good charm, but Sesh King still makes his way away from danger. Over the other side, the Nature's Advance will block some members, but it will still be Sesh King falling down first. I think the action will stop for the moment, but that's a really important pick that goes into the hands of Meters Boosted. That bike was the one getting all the executions before. You don't have that tool anymore.
So Portal Combat wins the Baron fight, but at least won't want it. There's another fight.
Okay, that's a nice train that goes straight onto the Varus, gets double stunned, but is still well protected for the moment. The feathers will fly, will recall them, but with no effect at the moment. The sign is still standing over the backside, but I think not for long. Elise Main over the other side, trying to block the Gwen for even doing more damage. Actually, a pretty good amount done by Zenvia. So the Maokai will go down. It's not in vain, and I think for the moment, Meat is boosted, has been hunted away from the Baron. No, Elise Main still goes in, has the flash, gets the Dawn Clash onto the Renekton. Chiwei still tries to respond. The Grand Entrance, together with the quickness, is well enough to get 2 more picks. And now Meat is boosted again on the offensive. Chiwei, Kiyoya, and Kez have the tools to go for more. Sesh King has returned, gets a stun, but does have that execution. But I think for the moment, the action will stop.
Back and forth. Tried to interrupt the recall. It was a good try from Sesh King, but back and forth and back again. Oh my god, this side is putting in so much work. But guys, why are these recalls coming in? Because Dragon is up in 13 seconds. Both teams are late to this, and Meat is boosted is going to be able to get the first one. If this soul goes through and Elise can't get the Smite Steal, then this could be game for, no matter how sloppy Meat is boosted play these fights, this could be it. And with Prio on this Dragon, starting it off, the Fireflies aren't looking good.
I'm a pretty brave person, but seeing a Gwen that fed with an Infernal Soul is something you can only see in nightmares. And, I really think Meat is boosted is getting this because the Dragon is basically already down. Even when it's inside the pit, so they will try to block it up and he kills it. The action is not finished yet. Yamumo will go down in the end as the feathers again fall down, do get recalled, pretty good amount of damage with the needlework, slowing the Xayah down, getting blocked out by the Chains of Corruption. That's a pretty nice combo to get the AD carry down. The Nature's Advance will block Sesh King as he gets pushed back into the Gwen, straight into the Meat Grinder, and it's only the Orianna standing tall in the end. Only herself will be able to defend against anything that might come from Meat is boosted. But I think their eyes are set on the Baron.
Sesh King had flash. He had flash, but I just think he didn't see the Nature's Grasp from the Maokai because he would have been able to get out if that was the case. But yeah, I mean, even with the amazing steal from Elise Main, keeping Fireflies in the game and, not dragging out the Dragon to far enough. And also, I think it was Kez who walked into range of the bandage toss. But with all that said and done, 4 members dead for the side of Fireflies, and it's an easy Baron for Meat is boosted.
Our first Baron of the game will be at 32 minutes into the game, so pretty late Baron, I have to say. Lately, we see them much earlier, around like 24 minutes, 23. Teams are much more eager to go and do Baron, but I guess that wasn't the case for this game. But I want to return to something we said before. This Gwen is going to be such a hassle to deal with in the backs or in the side lanes. Especially now that she has a Baron. So how do you stop her? What's the plan? Do you just send 4 people to take her?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough, especially with no one to answer. You've got to wait for an overextend. Again, both these teams are pick-oriented, so you're waiting for an overextension, get up close so that Hallowed Mist doesn't do much. Scion Unstoppable Onslaught to get away from that Renekton, but with the Baron and the siege potential that Meat is boosters had, these towers are going to fall.
Kiyoya still has that siege potential with the Gwen. The Hallowed Mist comes in clutch every single time she needs to hit the towers. That's quite a nice hook, lands onto the Maokai, but nothing of importance comes out of it. This Gwen is just alone. She has just used the needlework, so that's quite an important cooldown that she will not have. But I mean, when she can just melt the towers just like that, what can you even do against that? What can you even do?
I mean, you knew the Gwen was going into melee range of the towers. You knew that they were pulling you apart nicely. 3 minion waves. They're trying to stop this.
Okay, Nature's Advance onto Sesh King will just walk away from danger. The tower will go down in the end, so that's another piece of the Nexus that has fallen for Fireflies. Nice hook onto Chiwi, but nothing of importance comes out of it. And the Renekton together with the Gwen have teamed up to take yet another inhibitor. It's looking like the end of the game. How can they defend against this? The Gwen is just melting through the towers. The Nature's Grasp is just blocking them all. And it's just the Gwen yet again standing in the middle of 5 people, getting that Nexus damage in. And well, that's a pretty rough ending, I would have to say.
Yeah, I mean, Firefly's just crumbling at the end. Gwen, after taking that topside inhibitor, was able to back and then TP back in onto the bot side to demolish those inhibitors, but you had to focus on that, Gwen. You had to make sure they were just pulling you apart really well. It is difficult doing a base defense, especially with 3 lanes of Baron minions, but yeah, I mean, Meat is boosted, hats off. It was a strong game 1. If shaky with mistakes. So I think Fireflies can take some hope from that. If for context, Div 2 is no stranger to 3 game series throughout this regular season, so it is no means over for Fireflies as they held a good defense.
Oh hell yeah, we see like 2-1 all the time. I think 2-0s are, a delicacy, something that doesn't really happen often. So I can totally see Fireflies coming back into the game. I mean, they had a few mistakes in the early game, but they have managed to quickly pick up themselves and get to a comfortable position with that Zaya getting 2 items at some point. We could see that they had a clear plan in mind, but something just didn't go through. Something just wasn't off. Something just was off, and I think it's just that top side that was way too dominant from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, if yeah, sorry, I thought I heard like a doll in the.
A
Is that?
doll?
Uh, oh no, okay, I'm losing my mind. It's okay, it's okay. Nothing
That's the
wrong with the
Gwen.
stream.
That's the Gwen in
Audio's
your
fine.
room.
Yeah, yeah. Audio's all fine. I'm just losing my mind. We're all okay. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, that Gwen. I mean, you took the Scion into it. You thinking, just if you can't push against that too well, if you can't. If you're picking, they pick the Scion into the Gwen, and if that's going to be a problem, I mean that those second phase pans have to be adjusted because for the rest of the draft, it seemed fine.
Yeah, it seems fine, but it's just something they will have to think about during the second game. Do you want to switch up that top side, bring another carry? Do you think that Poor Demon actually can match Kiyoya in that side lane with something like the Jace that we saw being hovered during draft? So uh, that's going to be quite curious to know what happens in the second game draft as we look up and see some updates on the teams. Who chooses red side, who chooses blue side? I think for Fireflies, it's time to completely switch up things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we will go to a little bit of a break first, but I will say in terms of side selection, I mean, if meat is boosted is comfortable, it's usually not the side you usually go to. But as we just go to the break, I think you've got to get them off comfort. Maybe even take the red side yourself, so you can get those counter picks that work so well. But after the break, folks, it is the game 2 of Mystics. Oh my god, meat is boosted versus the other team. Oh my god, get me to this break.
Time to get some water, man. Time to get some water. See you in a bit. We are back with the second game after a tragic ending to the first one, where Fireflies were badly defeated in a pretty high Gwen fashion, we could say. We come back with the second game, ready to get the ball rolling again. Fireflies, they need to get bumped again. They need to find something to get them back into the game. And I think they have the chance right now. As always, I'm Sabrix, and I'm joined by Alex by my side. How are you doing after the first game?
I mean, it was back and forth. I think no team took an easy victory there. I mean, lots of things to learn, lots of things to improve on. I mean, it was just so back and forth. I also love to see in chat we do have a lot of Firefly support. Even after that first loss, we'd love to see some sort of reverse sweep or just a game three. But yeah, I mean, I will clarify for our viewers, we are at the same side selection. So Fireflies were able to pick, and they did choose the blue side again. I mean, blue side tends to be favored if you've got some strong flex picks, you've got some strong picks that you want to prioritize. But wasn't it a first pick Zaya? I mean, it did
Yes.
well, but in terms of, that Gwen R3 and the Renekton that did pretty well, was very surprising on that R5. I don't know if you feel you're comfortable with that trade, but it's what Fireflies might have prepared for in draft. Might be going for something different, and yeah, can't wait for the second draft.
I mean, in my opinion, it was probably something a bit too safe. Picking up that Zaya as first pick is sure something that allows you to have a pretty safe AD carry, but as you said, doesn't get you a flex pick, doesn't get you something dominant, something you're really comfortable on, or something that the enemies might not expect. But if we talk about Fireflies, I think we should also talk about Meat is Boosted, because they were completely dominant all around. They had a fantastic early game. That top side got the ball rolling since the beginning, with Keoya on that Gwen having an insane carry potential that I will still probably have dreams about it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But in Firefly's defense, me as Boosted made a lot of mistakes there. I think if there's anything you want to point out in draft, it might be the Scion that goes into the Gwen. If Poro Demon's just not comfortable in that matchup, if it's just not as safe as they thought. I know the Orianna Amumu combo is very good. I didn't see it go very well in the side lanes versus the Renekton or the Gwen. I know it got a lot of tier 1 turrets in the early, but I just put that down to macro. And ultimately, if both teams are playing the same pick style, explosive, get everyone there, I think this comes down to execution more than anything. And especially in those final fights, there were mistakes made by Meters Boosted, especially towards the beginning and middle. But if you're making those critical last mistakes, then that is game. So I think, yes, we can work on draft, see if Fireflies are cooking up something with a Kale or a Silas, but tightening up, making
No,
sure.
no, 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 no. I want you to think about it in a much easier way, right? So
Mhm,
I have a trivia for you.
mhm.
What was the mid jungle of Fireflies during the first game?
Orianna Amumu.
Okay, so we saw the Amumu just walking in with the shockwave, right? We saw him like, straight up going into 5 people, just trying to get that shockwave, right? Together with the Curse of the Stud Mommy.
Yeah,
Okay,
I remember.
okay, that was pretty funny, right? And what was topside?
You mean topside was Gwen Maokai?
There was a sign.
Oh yes, yeah, their topside. Yes, absolutely.
There was a sign, but I want you for this second game to think about a much simpler champion than Sion.
Malphite.
And
On.
who exactly? And who does well with the Amumu and the Oriana? Who has
Uh,
another like shockwave death ball potential, if not the Malphite in the top side? Wouldn't that be like a whole lot of fun, especially if you banned the Gwen before, of course.
I get what you're saying now. Fireflies need to pick Teemo. I get it now. I was like, just like, what's the analysis here? Oh, I get it now. Someone who's no. You're absolutely right. Malphite would work well. I've not seen a Yasuo in the OP.GGs, but that could be something if they want to go for that combo-based style, especially we saw from FireFlies in the first game, that could be very good. But yeah, that sound pick, not going particularly well. Maybe something to rethink in second phase, because in the first phase, Pike and Xayah and them and Amumu stealing away from Me Meet Shield, that's a pretty good first three. I don't have much to critique for that.
Like, before you said that it all comes down to execution, right? Then why not just pick easier champions? You know, just pick the most stupid stuff you can find in League of Legends and just go with that and have fun, maybe. You know, something like Misfortune, Malphite, Amumu, Orianna, just those easy picks that could easily get you back into the series with you could say a stolen victory in this second game. It's all a matter in if Meat is Boosted can actually manage to win even against those easier composition, things like Animal Fight, things like, again, the Amumu, the Orianna, that even though FireFlies lost, they were actually pretty effective, especially in the earlier stages of the game, that Amumu was everywhere around the map and Elise main was being pretty good with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we are just about to get into game, just to make sure that production, we're all ready on that side. I'm going to say ready to the players. As they have been a little bit saying, come on, let's get on with it. But we're in game now. And yeah, this draft, same sides as always. So are we going to see the same bans? I'm expecting the Ezreal. I'm expecting the Draven. The Akali first ban is the same as before.
We saw a lot of AD carry bans, 3 AD carry bans on the side of Meath is boosted, and the history seems to repeat itself. With the Draven being taken off the list immediately the last time the Jinx and the Ezreal were added to it. And I don't think Meat is Boosted should be scared of any picks in particular from the last game. So I think we're going to see yet again 3 AD carry bans.
Yeah, I mean, this is the exact same as last time. There's nothing particularly changed up. The only thing to note is that some of the players on the Firefly side have been mixed around in the lobby, so the ultimate ending up of all the players will be a little different than the actual champions they're playing. That happens a lot. The Teemo of
yes,
come on.
Yes.
What is this?
Captain Teemo. On duty? He's easy on duty? No, he's not on duty. The Pike is on duty.
He's been retired.
So the Pike gets picked. Okay, that's pretty bold. I would have to say Sesh King had a really nice performance on the Pike. Something surely easily counterable if your meat is boosted and they're going to steal the Xayah now.
I mean, it's certainly expected. I mean, Sesh King did have a good performance, even though, he did end up dying. I feel like mechanically he played those fights really well. And so if your comfort is up and you feel like you can play it into pretty much anything, I really like that. The Xayah taking that away, maybe giving up that Xayah. Are they cooking up something different? Maybe something with a Draven. No, well, they can't pick the Draven. It'll be interesting to see what they pull out. But with the Xayah Rakan, the Lovers duo, that is going to be a tough 2v2 to get Cryo over.
They got split during the first game, but during the second, they get reunited. Probably just to be, killed in a really artsy style by this really aggressive Jhin after the AD carry changes has become one of the top picks in that position, being able to use that Storm Razor really efficiently. And it's also, my main, so it's always pretty exciting to see him being played. Finally, us Jhin mains have a meta where we can actually play the game. So now with the Jhin being picked, I think we should look at some sort of control mage for Akonoka, and it's exactly what comes through. The Victor will be picked.
Yep, it is a contested pick in the sense that both teams play it. However, picking Victor blind, no way. Oh my god. So Cutis Cat plays a lot of Katarina. He has like 70 couple of games. His win rate is like 48%, but forget that, okay?
And you seem to be excited about it.
His Katarina is played a lot. I could see it being picked up here. It was hovered. Come on. Yes! We've never seen this. Just to say, we've never seen this Katarina in Div 2 before. He's never pulled it out. But, it's either been banned out or he's just not picked it. But in this game 2, where they want to secure this game into the second bracket playoffs, whipping out the Katarina. Oh my god, I'm happy.
And what a way to win that and secure that spot, if you ask me. If you actually manage to get this Katarina rolling, it's going to be quite a hell of a game. It's going to be so fun to see her just dash around. And if you look at the Victor, sure, he's ranged against melee, but I don't think the Katarina will actually suffer that much inside of lane. So I'm really, really curious to see what happens now.
And not a lot of like direct crowd control. Jin, Pike, they do have crowd control, and Victor, but it's very conditional. It's not very, Malphite ultimate or, or knockup that can be a lot more reliable. Katarina can dash in between these champions, and with low health bars, this Katarina can really get to work. So not only is it a counter pick, but it is also really smart into the comp so far. A Trundle as well, and I am loving this from Meters Boosted.
If you pick up the Trundle here, you, on paper at least, you try to block some of the tank picks that could come through from FireFlies, and it will get picked in the end still. I feel like there's some CC missing on the side of Metis Boosted, but I think now for FireFlies, it's time to think about it. How do you stop that Katarina? What are the champions that can actually do it? What are the champions that can peel for this Jhin? The Jarvan will be a way to get on the Xayah, but it's not exactly something I'm confident in.
I also think, and production, and please correct me please correct me if I'm wrong. The Ice Pillar disrupts Jin's ultimate, and also Jin being a movement based champion, the slow from Ice Pillar could be huge. Jarvan and Gnar gives a good rounded comp. Please stop hovering, Timo. I get it. Very funny, guys. You guys are the comedians that we've all been waiting for. But yeah, Jarvan, Gnar, some good team fighting abilities. But yeah, I can really see Meters Boosted here just running over, just playing smarter fights with a good comp diff. Top lane, not Parademon, that is Kaoya, thinking he can play Sion better than his opposing laner.
And, well, he's the one being on the tank this time. He's the one being against the ranged champion, with the Gnar being given to Parademon. So it's going to be quite a change of roles, if you ask me, from the first game. We'll see if he can actually play those tanks, or if he will fall under the same destiny. But again, something I really like against on the Meat is Boosted, it's Meat Shield being again on a pretty bulky boy on the Trundle. And you also have the Sion this time. The Sion, again, is going to be so well protected.
Yeah, Trundle has such good 1v1 potential, especially into someone like Jarvan. That just consistent damage, those chomps that Trundle can bring out, I think can be really good. I would just like to point out again one thing for the viewers. It is not Ananoka playing Jarvan mid. It's just because in the champ lobby we had some of the people going different places. We often have that because some of the players don't have all the champions, or just preferential pick order for someone who wants to ban. So that is the reason for that. It is going to be Elise on Jarvan, Ananoka on Victor. But yeah, I mean, I can see a way. I can see a world in this works. They are strong champions for FireFlies individually, but together, I think they do different things.
That's actually quite true. I've tried to think who actually manages to go in together with the Katarina. It's only the Rakan for now, or a Sion managing to get the train rolling, on the backside. So it's going to be quite hard for this Katarina anyway to find any sort of opening. But if I should, take your word for it, this guy is pretty insane on it. Do you have maybe some stories about this guy's Katarina? What did he manage to do? Did you play with him, or did you lose to him or something?
Absolutely not. What I do is I have this incredible. I do have this one incredibly deep and personal thing, which was when I went onto my computer and I looked at op.gg,
Oh, okay.
and it was there. But he has played it a lot.
The scroll of truth.
Really personal connection I have with Ket, but he is a caster. He was casting we casted for the first time, I believe it was on Monday. He's a lovely guy, actually a great color caster. Really has a lot of knowledge for the game, a lot of passion, and he plays very consistently, and he does that teamwork. So I can't wait to see what he does, especially whipping out first time in groups. And I mean, if you're going through and you're looking at those teams in Group B, you're sort of matching up, showing maybe a bit of what you can do, making sure you're comfortable on your most played champion, I think could be really good. So I think either win or lose here. I think it's a good play from Ket.
Yep, this is exactly the time to do it. This is exactly the time to pull up the Katarina, because I don't really think you would do it in playoffs. When there's so many high stakes, you could get pushed off immediately out of the brackets. It could all end with just one game of Katarina going wrong, and that is something that can happen very well even in this game. So props to him for picking it up. I'm pretty excited to see it now. Going back to see what FireFlies actually can do, I think compared to the last game, even though they had an Amumu and Oriana combo, I think this is much easier to play around. Akunoka is a really skilled Victor player. It's going to be quite easy to get that poke in, and with the Jhin, Zenvius will be able to follow that up pretty damn easily with the Jhin W. So I think it's something they can pull off quite easily. We'll just have to see if their execution will be a bit below the expectation, knowing that they lost the first game and maybe they're a bit bummed out.
Absolutely. And I think just before we go into game, I know casting can be difficult, but production can be even harder. And I just want to give a big shout out to our amazing person in production, Taria, who has just been, she takes the time out, make sure this is all set up in the background. It is, I don't want to hark on it too on because she's, she's umming in the background, but
a round of applause.
Yeah, it is a big shout out. It's a lot to do, and thank you for being able to have these streams where we can all see. So yeah, it genuinely makes VL just such an amazing and immersive experience. We don't worry, guys. We will get into game when this is all set up. But oh my god, I mean, and more. Your we could go maybe 20, let's say 25 seconds. I think. I don't know. I think 25 seconds is a good time. Would that be okay with everyone, or do we want to go earlier?
Yep.
Yeah, we are all at 25 seconds, folks. Okay, so yeah. There we go, folks. We are all in game, all synced up. And it's the same as before. It's a 5-man, 5-ward thingy. Explain it, separate.
People pinging and bush hiding and spotting and wording and moving around the map. Clicking right, click.
Never before have two casters explained so much with such precision and accuracy. Honestly, minds are blown.
There's a ping. There's a ping. I was right. There's another ping.
Our just ability to master the English language, the pair of us, is just second to none. And I will have to say, Saprix, you're not a native English speaker, are you?
Nope. So
yeah, I am. So this is far worse for me than it is for you.
I'm a bit excused, but
yeah. Oh no, there's no excuse for me. But the waves will touch, get into laning. Katarina probably going to have a little bit of a tough time against, ranged versus melee. We'll probably have to shove in. I am just going to move around the champions so I know who is playing what lane. But you can't sleep if you're on an Anoka. Victor is very easy to get jumped on. Lots of damage can come down. And he's a very scaling champion as well. So against Cutest Cat's main champion who has gone TP Ignite, love to see the aggression.
Victor has also gone for the bone plating, so he will be able to survive every single attack that this Katarina might launch onto him. Pretty curious to see if he actually manages to use it well. Bot side, we wait for the level 2. It's gonna go in the hands of FireFlies at the beginning. Kez will not get blocked by the Jhin W. It's still gonna be a level 1 for Meat is boosted.
Yeah, good fancy feat there from Kez, but did just not respect the level 2, getting a lot of health chunked down for it with a duo that is very bursty, can get a lot of damage down. Looking at the runes, while we might have a little bit, we actually see the Pike not opting for the Hail of Blades, this time going for the Electrocute, wanting to get, maybe just didn't find it getting enough damage last game, wanting to make sure that burst damage is just there, is able to, and especially with some maybe squishier champions than a Renekton and a Maokai this game, you can certainly understand the logic from Teshkin.
Yes, the push seems to be rolling for the bot side of FireFlies. The Jhin and the Pike after that initial trade have been pretty chilling in this bot side. The Xayah can't really be a threat to the Jhin in the beginning of the game, and we have the Trundle roaming around the bot side while the Jarvan has made its way up the top side. Kiyoya, I mean, he was the one receiving the ganks in the first game. I think this time he's going to be, treated the same way with Elise main, dealing a bit of damage together with the red buff. Is going to chunk the sign out a bit, but he's going to make his grand escape.
Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there from top jungle there from FireFlies. I mean, if you know your jungler is going to go in, the last thing you want to do is jump away and not be able to add that damage. The Q, the Decimating Smash, landed anyway from Sion, so it wasn't like you were dodging any damage. But, Kayoya just able to get a lot more. We actually see the Cull start from Sion, meaning he is going to be farming it up and being so much more dominant later on.
Hey, last game, the Sion was 30 CS behind the Gwen. This time he's actually up in CS by 2. So that's already progress, if you ask me. It's on the other side, but it's the same thing. So bot side, the push seems to have been swinging. Now it's the Xayah getting the push, and there's a dragon spawning in just a few seconds. The vision seemed to be perfect. For Meat is boosted. Mid lane again, Cat has the push too, but this Victor will slowly get another wave in. So at the moment, there's quite a lot of red spots in the bot side jungle.
Okay, so I think Meters Boosted has the same early game strategy, which is get prio in bot lane, recall before 5 minutes and 30. It's a special timer because dragons end up spawning. It also tends to be good gold timings for a lot of people, because we've seen this both times, and when you get to lane early, get the push, you'll have... We also saw Kez doing the same thing, roaming up to mid lane, making sure that Kez has, stopping any aggression. We see a fight actually occurring right now.
That's a pretty aggressive trade, and the Katarina has the Ignite, forces the flash out of the Victor. And he actually is going to end up for now, but with this Victor not having the flash, now the Dragon seems a much easier thing to take.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good trade, but Katarina has got to get backing. I mean, this Dragon could be yours, but with the jungler and mid lane just not having that synced up correctly, the Jarvan, because he hasn't taken it back, he will be able to get a little bit in, but he will also need to back, yes. So you will lose prio over this first Dragon. And yeah, I feel like this is somewhat coordinated from Meters Boosted, making sure you've got those back timers correctly. Sorry, I'm nerding out about macro. Just, League of Legends God, stop me. As Power Demon's going in.
I mean, you're the big brain of the thing, so I'm not really arguing with you. You probably know a lot more than me. Bot side.
My guy, I'm silver 4. Let's not go too deep in it.
We're all challengers inside,
Yeah, challenger at heart.
Both sides, quite a few slaps done with the feathers being recalled. That's half HP done to that Jhin. Will have to be relegated under his own tower for the time being. Now it's either a game of Chi-Wei helping up with the dragon or starting the recall. It seems to be the recall yet again.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this both times from... I just want to point to the top side. Kiyoya is able to just farm just so well. However, I think on a ranged champion that can play safe, Parademon's looking a lot more comfortable than this Gwen can go in. They're trying to get on the Katarina here, but Mimi's shield is there.
Okay, mid lane, it's a 2v2 skirmish with the Dead Blossom being popped up by the Katarina. Huge damage done onto that Victor, and that's just a matter of another dash. The first blood gets taken by the Trundle as they look maybe for more topside. We see a bit of a trade here, but nothing will happen more. I mean, maybe not. Kiyoya can maybe still follow this. Has the grasp stacks. Nice stun done in the end. Will block the sign from doing even more. But the first blood will go in the end too. Meat is boosted. That Katarina really comes in clutch.
God, these health bars are so low on the top side. Koyoyo was looking for it. I think with Mimi's shield, they could have coordinated a dive, but I think with two people covering each other's back, maybe they'll think better of it. So yeah, it's risky in the topsiders with one kill and one another. Oh no, they're going for this.
You had to curse it. You just had to curse it, man. And well, they go in. The sign will die. He will have just the strength to get nice plates before coming back to base, but I think all around it's so worth it for Meat is boosted.
Oh, absolutely. And you see that in the gold lead. It's already, 700, nearly 800 gold at 8 minutes for the side of the Scion. With, it's very nice. We see a 1k gold lead for the Trundle as well. I absolutely hate this champion. It's not just a champion like I hate because, I can play Trundle, but I just don't want to. And it's just so annoying. Cutest Cat showing his Katarina skills here.
Okay, that has to be one of the most annoying things as a jungler main. I think you can advocate for that. The enemy mid laner just moving around in your own jungle and blocking you from doing every single thing you would be able to do alone otherwise. And I think Victor here will probably have to fall down. So that's the mid lane priority you always need. And Cutest Cat actually makes a big deal out of it.
This is why Meat is Boosted is the #1 team in Group A, and any team going up against them in the group playoffs need to be looking at these games. Kez always roams up. This is a predictable but effective strategy of roaming, of consistent timers trying to contest this early mid wave and these early mid dragons. So you've got to watch out for this. And with Koyoya playing so well on the top side, it is a pretty unbeatable strategy, especially, at least for Fireflies, who are struggling in this game.
So 10 minutes into the game, as you said, Meat is boosted, sit comfortably in a position of advantage, thanks to Cat, who has managed to move out of the mid lane first. There's a Herald for the taking, and right now the gold lead tells us a story that, well, Meat is boosted, actually has the advantage right now. They have one Drake, they have the kill advantage. Would it be time maybe to get a Herald right now? Where would you actually want to put that on the priority list? Do you do it immediately? Do you move off more reinforcements towards that top side, or what do you do?
I mean, if you can get this Herald, that would be really nice, especially with maybe Victor pushing out the wave. If there's any time to do it, it would be now. But if I'm Elise main, my spider senses would be tingling. And the fact is, this bot lane is going well. Jhin could be able to get a lot of damage on this Katarina, on any Rakan. Your Rakan, you're feeling yourself, you're going in, but you realize you don't have the health, and you just see a Jhin 4th shot kill you. But look at Kez roaming again and again and again. Akanoka, I don't think he will go down. No, he will not. But yeah, this is just, honestly, Kez so proactive, and it's paying off.
That grand entrance was just a thing of beauty, I have to say, over the other side of the wall from Raptors, completely unexpected. But the flash from the Victor was also well timed, so props to that too.
Yeah, if I was Zenvious and Sesh King, I would be looking, I need to play a bit more out of my comfort zone now. I know that my team on the top side not doing well, and that my jungle is going to be insanely pressed, especially with now the Divine Sunderer completed for this Trundle. He is going to be so strong in those 1v1s. No river control can go to where he is. So you've got to be pushing. You've got to be either getting these tower plates for the next 3 minutes, or you've just got to be harassing the Trundle with vision, or just making sure that this bot lane can't do anything.
And exactly this happens when you run into a tandem of 3 people from Meat is boosted. It's gonna be Meat Shield blocking with the pillar for the moment, Elise main, but he's still gonna make his way out of it. Here a train in the distance, and yep, I look at the top side, the sign is coming back to lane. So he's going to be able to get that wave in again, but look at this, the reinforcements are coming. The Gnar has already used his own jump. The Cataclysm comes through with a bike trying to get the execution at least, but Sesh King just can't get much out of it. It's just Meat Shield again with that Divine Sunder just melting through the front lines. He gets a triple kill as the Katarina is looking up to finish up the job. It's a Death Blossom coming through, and it's Akanoka falling down too. It's a complete ace. It's a complete disaster for the guys from FireFlies. What the damn hell happened?
An ace at 12 minutes, and that was gold advantage, and that was skill. Kez predicting the Gnar jump to get a 2-man knockup. It was brilliant to start off the fight, and then that left Meat Shield to get a triple kill. Using that damage, Jarvan can't contest, Gnar couldn't contest, and then once he was able to just get out, timing his flash go well as we have a little bit of a fight.
Okay, they're trying to get onto the Zaya. I think Chiwi will make the feathers fly here. Will reset the aggro from the tower, but the execution comes quick enough to blow the Zaya up. And overall, they get one back at least.
Yeah, but just as I was saying, you know, everything was played just super correctly. The Katarina clear-up, using those knives and spacing around them so you could jump to them at the perfect time. Having the gold lead, you had just backed, you had got the money to do all this. Like, it was just so well played and a bit desperate from FireFlies, and now Meters Boosted have just scored themselves a 5.7k gold lead off the back of that play.
Look at the bounties on the heads of the mid jungle. Both this Katarina and this Trundle are rolling in gold. But at the same time, that means security is gonna tide around the mid lane. We already see 3 members from FireFlies roaming around that mid lane with Ket trying to make it out now. The Javan will have that Cataclysm in just a bit. Top side, we see yet another trade with Poro Demon, taking a whole lot of damage from that Scion, and I think the situation in the mid lane is safe for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, trying to play around the bot lane is correct. Sesh King actually might be caught out here.
He already used the dash, so he can't really make it out. The Flag and Drag will bring Elise Main to safety, but it's yet another kill that goes to Meat is boosted.
You can't play this Pyke like you did in the first game, where you can just run around and pick this. Oh, is Poro Demon dead? Oh!
That happened.
Yeah. Oh, will he get out, though? Oh, he does as well. Adds insult to injury. Jesus Christ.
And I want you to look at the bot side, because I don't think Akonoka is going to have a nicer fate.
It's disaster.
Oh,
yeah, this is
top side and bot side.
This is demonstrative of a little bit of a mental. That's a bit of a. What am I watching? He was waiting for that ult. You know,
Can he make it out?
The Abyss calling him.
Okay, the Abyss Flag and Drag. He gets blocked inside the Cataclysm. It's still quite a while to, you know, melt through a Scion, but he ends up finishing. He ends up dying in the end. At least that. Sesh King now getting focused up again in the bot side. Even the Ignite gets used by Kez. And what can we say? 15 minutes into the game, it's almost an 8k gold lead for Meat is boosted. They really got the ball rolling.
Yeah, and I mean, Elise Main not really looking as solid on this Jarvan, especially with champions that couldn't roll up. He couldn't follow up with that. Couldn't roll up. What am I, a goddamn gangster? It's with the Victor and the Anar just wasn't syncing up too well. And in the bot lane, where you would expect for this to have the most impact, just not a lot was be able to translate here. And you know what tells the story of this more than anything? Not the 6-0-2 Trundle or the 3-0-2 Katarina, but the 0-0-8 Rakan, who has been roaming up to mid lane all the time, been getting vision and prio around dragons. He will be able to get away from that little trade, but his proactiveness for his team has been the key for Meters Boosted in both games and has just taken so much control in this early game.
I mean, not all heroes wear capes. Some of them wear feathers.
That is true.
But I agree with you. He's been the true hero of the game. He has 8 assists, he has 0 deaths, he just knows what he's doing. The same goes for Kiyoya now, who I think just almost managed to get his 5th solo kill of the entire series. Or Demon will be able to make it out with a clutch Mega Knot coming at the right time, in the right place, while the mid lane push keeps on going, and well, the Cataclysm is available for the Javan, but if Kez just manages to do that, he completely blocks up every single possibility to get the engage rolling. It will be a 1-for-1 in the end, but I don't think that Meat is Boosted actually care about the Rakan dying.
The perfect game does get ended, but yeah, a little bit of a... Oh, we do see another fight here.
Okay, the Katarina gets blocked for the moment. Can't really enter the fight again. The feathers will fly and they will get recalled, but in the end, it's just a retreat again.
Yeah, when the tower deals the most recognizable damage of the fight to the Xayah, you know it's not going well. But just in that bot side, I mean, I might have been incorrect. I think there was a little bit of a misplay from Kiyoya there. The Soul Furnace, the second trigger of it, could have gone off to finish it off. I thought he might have been BMing, but at the end of the day, Poro Demon able to get out with his life. But with 1 item to 2 on this top side, with the gold lead as it is, yeah, it's tough to find hope for FireFlies here.
If you look at the map, there's no towers taken by FireFlies at the moment, and they all have bounties. as well as 3 champions on the enemy side. So I think FireFlies should start thinking about what their next objective might be. Is it killing someone? Is it getting one tower in particular? I think they're picking the Trundle, so that might be a plan. Just have to see how fast they can regroup and come to get that Trundle. Well, they don't manage to do so, sadly.
All right. Here's the lowdown. Here is the color casting knowledge that you are looking for here.
Let's go.
If you want to find a way of winning this game, first of all, you have to find a way to reliably hallucinate. That's the first step. That ability is either going to give you a way to see like the code of League of Legends, find some sort of fourth dimension way to break the game, or, and this is the best part, you will find a way to trick yourself into believing you're actually going to win this game. So anyway, it is a double win combo. So yeah, that probably should be the play for FireFlies going forward.
Are you saying that FireFlies should just become delusional and delude themselves that they can actually win a fight at this moment? Because I think they're maybe thinking of doing something up the top side, but they quickly run off.
Yeah, memes aside, with not a very, strong pick potential, you've got to look for some insane Gnar flank or, 5-man Gnar into 5-man flag and drag, some sort of crazy scenario. But yeah, with the situation and how Meters Boosted is playing, the TP coming topside might spell more disaster.
Well, both your Gnar and your flag and drag are relegated over the bot side, trapped together with the Katarina that managed to get out of the Cataclysm. So there's that. Borodemon has that Mega Gnar now, so they're maybe still trying to push up a bit. The Smite will block a recall from the Scion. And there's a Dragon up, but this bot side has been pushing for this whole time in the mid lane, and you can't really ignore this pressure.
It's why I've got to question the Jarvan pick in the second game. I mean, you're going up against a Katarina that you saw in the B1, you saw Xayah, you saw Rakan. Jarvan was never going to be an easy thing to set up around this mid lane. So, I mean, definitely getting punished with this. I think a Sejuani might have worked a bit better. However, that is directly picking into your counter of Trundle, the answer into Sejuani. So it would have been tough no matter what. But yeah, this Jarvan just not pulling out the answer as, Trundle 6-0-3 with how's my maths? 4k lead. Yeah, that's really good from Meat Shield, especially after some plays from the. Oh,
okay, that's quite a nice hook. That lands onto the Zai. She makes the feathers fly, but well, A for intentions, but an F for execution, I would say. The Jarvan, as you said, not really having the best of times.
A for expect. I thought you were just talking about paper for some reason. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? A4. But it's like, right, yeah, I get you now. Yeah, it is. It's very tough to come back, especially when your champions don't have, maybe the way to use it. What you've got to do is you've got to say, hey, look, we're down on our ropes. Let's go out with a bang. Let's put a yellow ward in sort of halfway in between the beginning of our base and sort of the middle of the lane. So what that does is you have a nice, backdoor ward. You get 4 people around one tower when they're pushing it in. You TP and you say, right, 3, 2, 1, press your R button. And then you just kind of see what happens. Trust me, it's actually not a bad idea. It's better as much now as, the constant fighting and scrapping. It's a nice attempt, but 13k down. You're already down like a complete item in this trade. And yeah, Kiyoya, it is a bit BM picking up the Scion, especially when your laner played it before and then beating him with it. But I mean, if you can prove it, if you can be BM and you can actually prove it, I don't even know if he's going to win this 2v1.
You know what? 2v1, as you said, and well, he has an ultimate in case he just wants to run away from this, but I don't think he wants to turn around. He wants to 1v2, he wants to go. The flag and drag will stop the stun for the moment. With the Mega Gnar popping in, the Jarvan is gonna go down. I can't, man, I can't. There's still Kiyoya standing, and I think he manages maybe to stay alive. The knockup will go through on the Gnar and just one attack.
God damn it. He's already dead. Why do you have to do it to him like that? God, he missed the ball. No, not the feed. End the stream. It's done. It's done. Oh, that is. I'd be laughing. No, if I know FireFlies. They have a good sense of humor, and yeah, that'd be one for a meme montage. But yeah, not FireFlies' crowded moment there.
That just destroys your mental, man. Even the bike ultimate missing in the end. That was just a cherry on top, you know. And while we were here, laughing our asses off, the Baron got taken down by Meat is boosted, and now they're looking to push even more. They have the vision in the top side. They have the mid wave, the bot lane, and the top wave pushing in really, really fast. They have the timings. They have the momentum. I think it's time to actually siege a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got the Baron, they've got the money, they've got the resets in. I mean, it is only time now. Fireflies, we did see how much of a fight they could put up in that game one. So whatever the gods decide for the Fireflies' fate in terms of are they going through or not, they can only be seen on this game. Sesh King almost dead, able to get out with his life, but I would love to see Fireflies go through. They really did try their best. Remember, this is the best team in Group A, so it'll be interesting to see. And for Meters Boosted, I mean, anyone in Group B, anyone going up against them, you have got a hell of a force to go up against.
Now, a great responsibility on the shoulders of Meat is Boosted, of carrying the first place probably in this group, as they go ahead and push even more now. That's a double stun, so that's pretty good from Sesh King. A Cataclysm that will block the Sire inside of it. Still a flash that comes out of it, so it's just Ket going down in the end. With the curtain call opening, it will just see the Jarvan dying. It's 1-for-1 with Ket hungry for a bit more now. The waves are coming in, bot side from the Sion. Mid lane and top lane are pushed in well, and Kiyoya, he's just standing there. He just doesn't care, man. He just vibes, I would say.
Yeah, and the vibes are strong with this one. They're already taken down 2 of the inhibs. They're fighting again.
Okay, another stun lands onto. I think they actually managed to finish them up yet. There's still the threat of the Pike just getting those executions in a row.
Oh,
recalls. I mean, oh,
Catherine is killing herself.
It's just so deadly. It's just so lethal. He manages to take him out in a split second. Not even the time to react to it. Kiyoya, he's just gonna walk, vibe around, do his own thing. But I think overall, Meat is Boosted won't be finishing up the game yet.
Yeah, I mean, a Soul is coming up in 35 seconds, so they might want to wait for that if they truly want that sort of Ocean... sorry, not Ocean, it would be Cloud Soul. That, I guess, could be helpful, maybe for Katarina, that movement speed, that... but yeah, I mean, they could walk blindfolded into this space and win this fight. TP's coming in, this is going to be the fight.
Exactly like the Kets and Kiyoya have been goofing around the enemy base for quite a long time just to wait for the TP from Care. That manages to get the Death Blossom and he gets stunned up, so he will fall down in the end. A pushback onto the tower from Porodemo will manage for Fireflies to buy a little bit more of time, but as the feathers fly, it's time for the Nexus to fall. It's gonna be the Fireflies falling down, and it's gonna be Meat is Boosted, solidifying a first place in Division 2 Group A.
And Meat Shield, the only one who will go through with a perfect game, 8-0-4. Katarina and Cutis kept dying just at the last moment. Will steal that perfect game, but it was a hell of a game from Katarina, just showing something just different off, and I love that. I love variety in VL, especially after seeing Jinx every single goddamn time. And I love that, and I think he piloted it so well. Commiserations. We will get an interview, folks, so do stick around. Please let us know, teams in chat, or if we can get someone here. But yeah, hats off Meters Boosted, played aggressively, played well and coordinated, and it showed 2-0 in a pretty quick time.
Also, let us know who was your MVP for the series. Before that, who was your personal MVP of the whole series?
Oh, it had to be Kez. I mean, you can talk about, how well Meat Shield played, or, the great ADCing, or the top lane, especially with the Gwen and the Sion, I forget their name, Kiyoya, really played very well and would be a good contender. But I think Kez, just the macro knowledge, how they were carrying the early and mid game, every single play that got Meat Shield ahead, Meters Boosted ahead, started with Kez. It had Kez there in the fight, in the game. You could see him really taking up a game. So, and I also just love as a jungler, I understand how valuable supports are. So I always give a bit of deference. You know, they really are underrated. So yeah, GG's to Z to Kayoya as well. Who's your MVP?
I just have to agree with you, man. Like the moment you made me notice how Kez was in every single action, he had almost 100% kill participation. This guy was everywhere. This guy had a clear plan from the beginning, especially with his mate in the bot side. They knew that at a certain time, Kez would be moving around the map. And with Kez moving up first, he would unlock so many things. So many things would become possible for Meat is boosted. So my MVP goes to him too.
Yeah, if it's okay, just to ask production, if we could maybe go to a quick break before we go to our interview, as again to both the teams, if sorry, to Meters Boosted, whether it's the coach, the manager, or one of those amazing players would be preferable. Could get in here. We will stay tuned, folks, because we'll have an interview, show what was going on in the heads of those players, and yeah, if there's anything you want to say, Saprix, before we head to a quick break.
Well, I guess Meat is boosted really sent us to a earlier dinner, I guess, ending
Yep.
it up in a 2-0. So we're gonna be back in just a few minutes, seconds with an interview. Stay tuned. And we are back waiting for our interview to come in. And maybe you guys already know who it is, maybe you don't. But we're going to have Mr. Meat Shield on the mic. If you have any sort of questions, we're going to start. But first of all, Meat Shield, how does it feel? Probably first place in the standings after quite a short split. How did it go?
Yeah, I mean, it went pretty well. Let's be real. We lost the first game, the first series that we played, and ever since then we've just been on a bit of a run. Really, getting better every week, getting more comfortable, developing our style, which always helps. We're not a team that's played together for a very long time, to be fair, and we only bought in Kez like kind of a week before the VL started, so. Yeah, no, it feels great. We're all happy. We all think we deserve first place after how we've played. So
Yeah, talk us through that first game, which was a lot closer. I think you very much had a lot of opportunities, but Fireflies were very persistent, getting those picks, getting caught out. What was going on your comms? Just give us a window in about how you were trying to end the game and what ended up sealing that.
yeah, so like the early game was fine. We were all like kind of happy with how it was going. We were stacking our drakes as we normally do, and they've got a bit of a wombo combo with the Oriana and the Amumu, and then the pike can come crashing down and start doing pike things, But I think because we had a bit of a lead early, the Amumu build path, in comms, I wanted to do a few things a bit different to my teammates. But that's just how it goes in the team environment. We've all got ideas, but ultimately we had Gwen. So when you got Gwen and you get her ahead, she starts doing Gwen things. I don't know what that champ does. Let's be real. I don't think any of us really do. You pick it against a tank, and if the player's got some right clicking about him, yeah, easy game really for the Gwen. But yeah, it was we played around objectives really well. The Baron set up, baiting their TPs, peeling off, going back, 30 seconds later, and yeah, pretty much that to secure the victory in game one.
He also said that Kez was like a last minute addition to the team. How's the mood with him? Because in our eyes, he has been one of the main guys of the team as far as this best of three goes.
Yeah, so Kez came in. Basically, I was the main support, me and Jiwei Lee. But we had problems finding a jungler all throughout like the preseason, let's call it. And then Kez, we scrimmed Kez's Div 1 team and put up a really good fight against them. And when we knew that Div 1 wasn't kind of happening, we reached out because we had a position, and we reached out to him, gave him a couple of tryouts, gave him the team, and he came in straight away, wants to get involved with draft, wants to voice his opinion all the time. And with me moving into jungle, that kind of helps. Like with me taking over the jungle kind of shot calling, he takes over the bot lane shot calling. And me and him as a pair, we talk everyone, everyone says everything in the game. Don't get me wrong, we all say our ideas, but ultimately, yeah, between me and Kez, we're the biggest voices. So anything that you see happens kind of happens through us, in a shot call kind of manner. And yeah, it's a pleasure. He's smart. He fits in because obviously I'm a bit boosted, so he's a little bit boosted as well. So he fits in nicely.
Well, I mean, the name of your team is Meters Boosted, so I mean, it is helpful that way. I would just like to ask. We have a question in chat from Taria Lol. Wow, interesting. That, sounds like a really intelligent. It'd be great to have her in call if she was there. It just sounds like such an intelligent question. But what does Meat think about the other teams? Are any one that scares you, or any teams that you're not respecting? This can be from Group A or Group B, especially given after group playoffs, you will be facing teams from both.
Or Div 3.
Or Div 3, okay.
I mean, I've screened a few of the Div 3 teams. I'm actually participating in like a coaching role as well for one of the Div 3 teams as well. So I'm keeping my eye a little bit more on that. But in our group, there's no one. Even though that we lost the first game, if we played it again, I think we'd win it and we'd probably sweep this whole group. Personally, and then there's a few good players here or there, but if they like Fireflies, for example, we know their ADC Giga Smurf, when he gets going, regularly gets 15 kills a game. When you don't let him do that, what happens? Well, the team doesn't win. So it's in the other group, I don't really know. I don't even look at the other group, to be fair. I know they got two good teams. I know it's Deja Vu. I know I've scrimmed against Frostbite Gladiators a lot. Right now, without Miffy, they're not much of a worry. But when Miffy comes back, I like jungling against him. I think it's a really good crack. And Deja Vu, I know there are a lot of Kez's friends as well. So I'll be looking forward to play those guys in like finals or something. That'd be pretty cool, pretty hype. But yeah, for the other teams, I don't think they're much of a worry for us.
I mean, you said you don't know much about the other teams, but after this game, I think the other teams should know a bit more about you because, especially the fact that that Katarina came through in the second game was something like we maybe expected it, but we didn't think he would be this bold to pick the Katarina. So were you guys kind of planning it? Did you guys just do it for fun to maybe try and taunt the enemies a bit? What was the thought process behind the Katarina there?
So cutest cat. Cat is a Katarina one trick for the most part. If you
Mm.
check his op.gg, um, basically it was a draft diff. In my opinion at least, when you're first picking your Pike one trick, and then you match it with Jin Victor, and we've answered Zyra Rakam. You've picked your mid laner. You've picked basically kind of carry roles because we all know what top and jungle is like. It's not really that carry centric. We know they're just going to pick like engaging tanks, and Ket was the first one to say, "Guys, it's a Katarina game." So we just say, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah. What are they going to do against me? They can't kill me. Jin's never going to kill me. Pike's useless. Victor's useless, and it shows in the game." Pretty
Yeah.
much, he just smurfs on him. So yeah,
Especially with the lack of reliable CC. Yeah, the Katarina R3 was very good. But unless there are any other questions, I've got, big up Frostbite Gladiators. They've certainly been putting a shift in with the main man Sir Jonjo on that team. A big up. But yeah, I think other than that, you guys are looking very strong to take the split. But obviously can't be too, what's the word? I don't know, carefree. But yeah, you guys
Is
did
it?
very well. Arrogant. There we go.
Uh,
Yeah, is there anything?
as the last thing, if you want to give any shout out to, I don't know, some player, some person, this is the time
um,
before
The
we wrap
floor
it
uh,
is
up.
yours.
I mean, I hope Monkey Esports pull out the win. We did them a favor on Tuesday when we won our rescheduled game. So big up to them. I hope they can meet us in the playoffs.
Hell yeah. It would be interesting to see if they could actually knock out Fireflies, who are currently in danger of being relegated themselves. It will be up to the other teams to see if they go through. But yeah, thanks so much, Mimi. It has been really good. Thank you for doing the interview.
No worries.
Yes,
It's a pleasure. Thanks for casting the games, guys.
No
thank you for
worries.
was really professional, I have to say. Professional interviews for professional leagues.
There you go. If there's one thing I think of when I hear Valence League, it's professional.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quality,
absolutely.
professional, and smooth because nothing ever goes wrong.
Yeah.
So with this, I think this is going to be it for us. We hope you enjoyed the night. You enjoyed the games. Two games, sadly, we didn't get the third, but well, that's it for the moment. Valence League will be going offline, and we will see you back again next week, probably, with more games, more action, maybe even other divisions from Sabrix. And Alex, this is it.